Ever feel unsure about which meats won't send your blood sugar soaring? You're not alone. Discover the top 6 meats that diabetics can enjoy without worrying about spikes. This video will guide you in making tasty, diabetes-friendly choices that support your health. 6 best meats diabetics can eat without spikes. Number 1, lean poultry. All right, kicking things off with our first one, lean poultry. We're talking about options like chicken and turkey, especially when you go for the white meat and skip the skin. These really are top-notch choices if you're managing diabetes. Why? Well, they're packed with high-quality protein and have very little fat, particularly the saturated kind, which, as you may know, can be a big deal for your overall health and keeping blood sugar steady. This makes them a perfect foundation for a diet that works well with diabetes, giving you those essential nutrients without the problems you might get from meats with more fat. Now, adding lean poultry to your meals can truly help keep those blood sugar levels stable. You see, protein affects your glucose more gradually than carbs do. This means it helps you feel full and satisfied, and importantly, it helps prevent those sudden, sharp spikes in blood sugar that can happen after you eat. This steadying effect is really key for keeping your energy levels consistent and avoiding the complications that can come with blood sugar that's all over the place. And there's more. Lean poultry is also a great ally when it comes to managing your weight. Keeping a healthy weight is so important for diabetes control because extra body fat can make insulin resistance worse. The good news is that the high protein and low fat content in chicken and turkey helps you feel fuller for a longer time. This can lead to eating fewer calories overall, which makes it easier to reach or stay at a healthy weight. So, when you're cooking up some lean poultry, it's best to choose methods like baking, grilling, roasting, or poaching instead of frying. This way, you keep any added fats way down. And for flavor, try marinating your poultry with herbs, spices, a squeeze of lemon juice, or even some vinegar. These can add amazing taste without needing to use sugary sauces or too much salt. And don't forget, always remove any fat you can see, and the skin too, before you cook. That way, you're really getting the leanest protein you can. Let's not forget about portion control, because that's super important too. A good rule of thumb for a meat serving is about 3 to 4 ounces. Think about the size of a deck of cards. If you pair this with lots of non-starchy veggies and a bit of whole grains, you've got yourself a balanced meal that helps keep your blood glucose steady. For example, imagine a grilled chicken breast with some steamed broccoli and quinoa. Delicious and perfectly fine for a diabetes-friendly diet. And for a bit of variety, you could dice up cooked turkey to toss in a salad, or use ground lean chicken to make some tasty lettuce wraps. Number 2, fatty fish. Moving on to our second great option, fatty fish. We're talking about fish like salmon, sardines, mackerel, and herring. These are absolute nutritional champions, and they're especially good for anyone managing diabetes. What makes them so special? Well, they're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids. You might have heard of EPA and DHA. These are famous for their powerful anti-inflammatory effects and the big boost they give to heart health. And this is incredibly important for people with diabetes, as they often have a higher risk of heart-related issues. So how do these omega-3s help your heart? They work by helping to lower triglycerides, reduce blood pressure, and even lessen the risk of blood clots. You see, inflammation is often a hidden culprit in many long-term health problems, including type 2 diabetes and heart disease. By adding fatty fish to what you eat, you can actually take steps to calm that inflammation down, which helps protect your heart and blood vessels. But it's not just about the healthy fats. Salmon, sardines, mackerel, and herring are also fantastic sources of top-quality protein. Just like with lean poultry, the protein in these fatty fish helps keep your blood sugar levels steady. It does this by slowing down how quickly you digest food and absorb glucose. This means fewer sudden spikes and drops in your blood sugar, leading to better control overall. Plus, protein is great at making you feel full, which can really help with managing your appetite and cutting down on calories. Eating fatty fish regularly can truly play many roles in managing diabetes. It's not just about the direct benefits for your blood sugar. The positive effect on blood pressure is also really important, since high blood pressure often goes hand in hand with diabetes. On top of that, because protein and healthy fats help you feel full, they can support your weight management goals too. A good target is to try and have at least 2 servings of fatty fish each week. And remember, stick to healthy cooking methods like baking, grilling, or steaming to get all those nutritional goodies without adding any unhealthy fats. Number 3, very lean meat options. Our third category focuses on very lean meat options. Now, if you're someone who's carefully keeping an eye on your fat and calorie intake, adding these very lean meats to your diabetes meal plan is a fantastic strategy. It's a great way to get that all-important high-quality protein with hardly any fat. We're talking about options that are incredibly low in fat, usually between 0 to 1 gram of fat per ounce, and only about 35 calories for that same ounce. This makes them an especially good fit if you're really working on tight blood sugar control and managing your weight. So, what kind of meats fall into this very lean group? Well, think about certain types of fish like cod, flounder, haddock, and sole. Shellfish are also in this club. Shrimp, scallops, and lobster are excellent choices. And when it comes to poultry, skinless chicken breast and turkey breast are classic examples. You might even find that some lean deli meats, like low-fat turkey or chicken slices, fit the bill, but just make sure you're checking those labels carefully for sodium and any added sugars. All these options give you a good amount of protein, which is so important for keeping your muscles healthy and making you feel satisfied, all without loading you up on extra fats that could mess with your insulin sensitivity. When it comes to cooking these very lean meats, the main idea is to keep them lean and boost their flavor without piling on unhealthy fats or carbs. Methods like steaming, poaching, baking, broiling, and grilling are all perfect. For flavor, make seasonings your best friend. Herbs like dill, parsley, and oregano, or spices like paprika and cumin, and even a splash of lemon or lime juice can turn a simple piece of fish or chicken into something really tasty. Just try to steer clear of creamy sauces or heavy breading, as those can undo all the good work of choosing lean protein in the first place. Bringing these very lean meat options into your balanced diabetic meal plan is actually pretty simple. They go wonderfully with a big helping of non-starchy vegetables. Think leafy greens, broccoli, or bell peppers, which give you fiber and important nutrients. Then, a small serving of complex carbs, maybe some quinoa or sweet potato, can round out the meal nicely. By making these very lean proteins a focus, if you have diabetes, you can still enjoy really satisfying meals that help keep your blood sugar stable, look after your heart by keeping saturated fat low, and help you get to or stay at a healthy weight. Number 4, plant-based meat alternatives. Next up, at number 4, we have plant-based meat alternatives. If you're living with diabetes and thinking about cutting back on animal proteins, or maybe you want to try a diet that's more focused on plants, then you're in luck. Plant-based meat alternatives offer a whole range of options that are getting more diverse and tempting all the time. These products can give you good quality protein and essential nutrients and often they do it without the saturated fat that you find in some animal meats. That's a big plus for your heart health and for how well your insulin works, making them a really appealing part of a modern meal plan for diabetes. So, what are some of the best plant-based choices? Well, you've got your traditional options like tofu, tempeh, and seitan. Tofu, which comes from soybeans, is super versatile and great at soaking up flavors. Tempeh, also made from soy, has a firmer feel and a bit of a nutty taste, and it even has good probiotics. Then there's seitan, which is made from wheat gluten. It's really high in protein and has a chewy, meat-like texture. We're also seeing a lot of newer plant-based burgers, sausages, and grounds made from things like pea protein, soy protein isolates, or even mushroom-based ingredients. These can pack a good protein punch too, but it's super important to read those labels to check for sodium, added sugars, and how processed they are. And let's not forget legumes like lentils and beans. They might not exactly copy meat, but they're fantastic plant-based protein sources in their own right. It's good to know that the nutritional breakdown of these alternatives can be quite different. For instance, tofu and tempeh give you complete protein and can be good ways to get iron and calcium. Seitan, while packed with protein, isn't a good choice if you have celiac disease or are sensitive to gluten. Many of the processed plant-based meats you see are often beefed up with vitamins like B12, which you normally find in animal foods. But, and this is a big but, some of them can be quite high in sodium or have added fillers, so checking those labels very carefully is absolutely key. Now, when we think about managing blood sugar, plant-based proteins can be really helpful, especially the ones that are rich in fiber, like beans, lentils, and soy products that haven't been overly processed. That fiber is great because it helps slow down how quickly your body absorbs glucose. This in turn helps keep your blood sugar levels more stable, especially when you compare them to some animal meats that don't have any fiber. Generally, these plant-based options tend to have a gentler effect on your blood glucose. This is particularly true if they're taking the place of fattier meats, and that's a positive step for your overall blood sugar control. Number 5, lean beef cuts. All right, let's talk about number 5, lean beef cuts. Now, beef sometimes gets a bit of a cautious look when it comes to diabetic diets, mainly because of worries about saturated fat. But it's really important to remember that not all beef cuts are the same. If you choose carefully, lean beef can definitely be part of a balanced and enjoyable way of eating for those managing diabetes. It offers great nutrients like protein, iron, and vitamin B12. The trick, as always, is to pick the right cuts and cook them in a smart way. So, which beef cuts are the leanest? You're looking for ones with very little visible fat and not much marbling. A good tip is to look for words like loin or round in the name of the cut. For example, think of eye of round roast or steak, sirloin tip side steak, top round roast and steak, or bottom round roast and steak. If you're buying ground beef, aim for at least 90% lean, or even better, 93 to 95% lean, as this will really cut down on the fat. These leaner choices still give you that lovely, savory beef flavor, but with a lot less saturated fat than you'd find in fattier cuts like a ribeye or a T-bone steak. Just like with other meats, getting the portion size right is really key when you're including beef in a diabetic diet. About 3 to 4 ounces, once it's cooked, is usually the recommended serving. And if you need a visual, that's roughly the size of a deck of cards. Eating too much, even of lean beef, can add extra calories and protein that might indirectly affect how you manage your blood sugar and your weight. So the best approach is to pair a sensible portion of lean beef with lots of non-starchy veggies and a small serving of whole grains to make a well-balanced meal. When it comes to cooking your lean beef, You'll want to focus on methods that keep added fat to a minimum and let any existing fat drain off. Grilling, broiling, baking, and roasting are all fantastic choices. If you do decide to pan fry, use just a tiny bit of oil and make sure to drain away any fat that cooks out. And don't forget, trimming off any fat you can see before you start cooking is also a really important step. By choosing those lean cuts, keeping an eye on your portions, and using these healthy cooking methods, people with diabetes can certainly enjoy beef from time to time as part of a varied diet without it causing major issues for their blood sugar or heart health. Number 6, game meats. And finally, at number 6, let's explore game meats. We're talking about meats like venison, which is deer meat, bison, sometimes called buffalo, and elk. These offer some really interesting and nutritious options compared to the usual farmed meats like beef, pork, and lamb. What's great about them is that they're generally leaner. This means they often have less total fat, less of that saturated fat we try to limit, and fewer calories, all while packing in more protein. This kind of nutritional makeup makes them a fantastic choice for anyone with diabetes who's looking to mix up their protein sources a bit. Why are game meats so lean? Well, it's mostly down to what these animals eat in the wild and how active they are. Take bison meat, for instance. It has a wonderful rich flavor, but it's noticeably leaner than beef, with less of that web-like fat running through it. Venison is another one that's incredibly lean, and it's also a good way to get iron and B vitamins. Because of these qualities, game meats can be a great addition to a diabetic diet. You can enjoy them without worrying about too much saturated fat, which is a win for your heart health and how well your insulin works. And it's not just about being lean. Game meats can also bring some exciting variety to your meals. This can be really helpful in stopping you from getting bored with your food, which, as we all know, can sometimes make it tough to stick to healthy eating. Their unique flavors can be a really nice change of pace. Whether you're thinking about bison burgers, a hearty venison stew, or some grilled elk steaks, you can cook these meats using the same healthy methods we've talked about for other lean proteins, like grilling, roasting, or braising. This way, you hold on to all their nutritional pluses. Just like other lean proteins, the high protein and lower fat in game meats help keep your blood sugar levels steady. That protein helps you feel full and satisfied, which is great for controlling your appetite and how many calories you eat overall, a really important part of managing weight with diabetes. Plus, having less saturated fat is good news for your heart health, which, as we know, is a big consideration for anyone with diabetes. If you're choosing game meats, it's a good idea to look for farm-raised options from places you trust, especially if wild game isn't easy to come by. And of course, always make sure they're cooked all the way through. Their unique qualities offer a really tasty way to make a diabetes-friendly diet even better. Cooking and preparation methods. When it comes to cooking and preparing your meats, try to go for methods like grilling, baking, broiling, steaming, or poaching. These ways of cooking are great because they help keep the nutrients in and keep added fats and calories down, which is so important for keeping your blood sugar steady. It's best to stay away from frying and try to limit any heavy sauces or marinades that are packed with sugar or unhealthy fats. That'll give you the best results for your health. Portion control and meal planning. Let's talk a bit more about portion control and planning your meals. A good target for your meat serving is around 3 to 4 ounces. Remember, that's about the size of a deck of cards. Then, you'll want to combine that with plenty of non-starchy vegetables and a small serving of complex carbohydrates, like quinoa or perhaps some sweet potato. Taking this kind of balanced approach is really effective for managing your blood sugar And it also means you get a meal that's both satisfying and full of good nutrition. So, to wrap things up, choosing the right kinds of meat is a really big part of managing diabetes successfully. By focusing on those lean, high quality protein sources that we've talked about today, folks with diabetes can absolutely enjoy meals that are both satisfying and delicious. And at the same time, they'll be doing a great job of keeping their blood sugar levels stable and looking after their overall health and well being for the long haul. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What's your favorite diabetes friendly meat recipe? We really hope you'll share it in the comments section below. And hey, don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter if you want more expert tips on managing diabetes. We also invite you to join our wonderful supportive community that's all about thriving with diabetes.